Right. Finally got this going. Let's try a little opening intro. All right, so welcome to this live broadcast. This is why I should be doing more live broadcasts a lot closer together because I always forget how this technology works. My apologies for streaming a little earlier there. Did not realize I was live. Thank goodness for my buddy Andy texting me saying that I'm live and he can see me on YouTube. Did not realize. Good thing I didn't do anything that was embarrassing or say anything. All good. All right. Well, it is time. It is here. So thank you all for taking part. Hopefully we can do. Let me do a quick sound check. Make sure that you can hear me. I can hear myself. Somebody says nice, I like it. It doesn't give me a sound check. Just make sure you can hear me all right. If you can, say yes, yes. We hear you. Thanks, Miguel. Yes, Jamie. Awesome. Giddy up. TGIF, right? All right. So today is Friday, and I'm doing a live. It's awesome. It's only been like 3 months since the last one, so thank you, Edmund. Awesome, dude. Appreciate that. It is echoey. I can hear it, and I don't know why that is. Hold on. Might have an idea. Oh, I see why. Oh, here we go. So audio. Hold on. I think I got an idea here. How about now? Check, mic check. I think I know why. All right. Sorry, it's like a 5-second delay. Okay, I think we're good. I think it was picking up 2 mics. So, all right. So I just kind of really want to dive into this, and I will go back and answer any and all questions. So mastermind groups. I know for me personally, like when I heard the term mastermind group, this would have been almost 7 or 8 years ago. I don't think I even knew what a mastermind group was. It's kind of like sound like a secret society, like the like secret handshakes and all that good stuff. But I recognized, so I got to a point in my career that I was making good money. I had achieved some level of success, but didn't really have a community that I could go to kind of just share notes. And as you know, as my career has evolved, as my business has grown, like I've talked to so many others that are in that similar situation. And you don't have to be at a point in your business or career, where you're at a certain income level to where you feel this way. You could be at different income levels, different stages in your career. But you just kind of reach this point where, like, how valuable it would be to have somebody, to have multiple people to go to get advice, to get just honest feedback, to have some accountability. Like, how many times have you had an idea of something that you wanted to do and you want to share that with somebody, and you start mentally like going through that list of, man, I have this idea and I want to share it with somebody, but you don't know how, or you just don't know like who to go to, who that person is. And that's, I was there, man, I was there so long to where I needed something. I just didn't know what that was. And then I ended up talking to somebody who was in a mastermind, and they shared with me like just the power of what that was. So basically, the mastermind is a place that you can go that you can share whatever you need to share, a win, a struggle, something that you're stuck with. And the best part is that these people are not there to judge you. They're not there to make you feel guilty. They're not there to make you feel bad. They're also not there to just tell you what you need to hear or want to hear, which is just another thing. So having a place that you can be open and honest with everything that you're trying to go through, like that was something I didn't have. But I was at the point where like I knew I needed something, I just didn't know what that was. So it began this journey of trying to figure out that was, and then had a very just a very successful business leader that told me about the concept of a mastermind group. So upon hearing that, I'm like, I'm in, sign me up. So I started my first mastermind group, and not started, but I was a part of my first mastermind group. And the first one was it was me and 4 other people. And what we would do is we would have a call every single Monday. It would be about an hour call. On that call, somebody was quote unquote on the hot seat. And we would share like just anything that we were stuck with, anything that just we need help with. So we would share, on that hot seat for about 30 minutes. And I can't tell you like how valuable that was to have like that feedback, to actually have somewhere to go to share whatever it is I was struggling with. And what ended up happening was so many different things to where, like, for example, thought I had a really great idea, like the best idea ever. And I'd already kind of mapped it out. I was ready to do it. And I shared it with my mastermind group. And they just kind of said, like it's not a bad idea, but it just seems like that is not really what your bigger goals are. Like what you truly want, like what you told us that you really want to do. And I remember I shared that, and I heard that initially, that feedback. I was a little frustrated, but then I realized, there was no reason for them not to speak truth to me. So I listened, I shut my mouth, I listened, and the more I thought about what they had to say, the more I realized that they were right. Like they were right. And I ended up not pursuing that idea. But if I didn't have that mastermind group, if I didn't have that core group of people to give me that honest feedback, I would have began this journey of trying to make this idea work, but spent a lot of money, spent a lot of resources, and in the end result would have left me feeling just frustrated, beat down, all that feelings of just insignificance, failure because it didn't work out. And I can't even measure like how much time, money, stress, anxiety that saved me just by having that group of people. So like that was like the first group that I was a part of. And since then, I've been a part of several mastermind groups. Most of them have been free groups. So I'm in 2 quote unquote free mastermind groups. So these are just like more like peers that we get together. I also joined a business coaching program, which was also awesome. Like everything I loved about this coaching program. It was this group of people, once again, high level. But the one thing about this coaching program that I missed, and what I hear other people say, is that they have like these groups that they can go to, but there isn't like this close connection. There isn't this just feeling like that these people are there not just for business, but also for life. And it wasn't until I joined Michael Hyatt's Inner Circle Mastermind. Now, this would have been about 3 years ago. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Michael Hyatt. He was the CEO of Thompson Nielsen Publishing for a number of years. He left, and then he started his own online educational company. He's got just different products, has an awesome podcast, a blog on leadership. But he had this inner circle, and it was 10 guys, including myself. I had to apply. I had to pay a lot of money to be a part of it. It was $25,000 for the year, which when I think back where my mind was with that, it blew me away that I was actually willing to do that. But with Michael, what he had that I really admired, what I looked up to, was had a successful career. He had a family that on the outside looking in, looks like he had it all together. Had been married, I think now for over 40 years. He's got 5 daughters that, they do all these awesome trips together with their family. I mean, they have everything that you would want, to aspire to. And when I got a part to be about this mastermind, I was so excited that I could actually be mentored by him. So the fun thing that ended up happening through this is that I joined it because of Michael. In this group, there was, as I mentioned, there was like 9 other guys. There was only 10 total. These 10 other guys end up being the secret sauce of this group, because these were guys that we weren't just there for business. We were there to be better men, to be better husbands, to be better fathers, to be better friends, to also be better leaders. And these guys inspired me so much that I can't even measure like how much of an impact they had, not just on my professional career, but also my personal life. And it was, my goodness, like by far it was the thing. Even my wife will say like that was one of the best periods of our life, because we were all so committed to each other. I mean, we knew everything that we were struggling with. And I don't know if you've ever been involved in a church, but I mean, it felt like it was like a church business group, because it wasn't just business, it was personal. And I just shared a lot of the struggles that I had, and vice versa. Everybody shared their junk that they were going through. Now, unfortunately, that was the last year of the inner circle. So Michael, he closed the doors on that inner circle. It ended, and ever since then, I have been looking for a place that I could go. But also, I've always wanted to lead others. I've always wanted to create a similar environment, a similar community where other men could come together that have high goals, big audacious goals of achieving amazing things that most people, if you share these goals with like your friends and your family, they probably think you're a little crazy. And that's not a bad thing, you know, because sometimes you have some crazy goals that you don't have those people to share that stuff with. So to have a place where you could share your goals, but also share what you're struggling with. You know, where are you stuck? You know, where are you stuck in your business? Where are you stuck in your marriage? Where are you stuck with your kids? Like trying to raise your kids. I mean, I've got 4 children. I'm gonna tell you, it ain't. I've read a lot of parenting books, and I've not found the perfect one that gives every single solution. So to have a place that you can share this stuff, it's something that, like, I've found that in some of our church small groups, but what I haven't found is how do you take that connection and that community, and how do you put a spin on it to where you also have successful businessmen that are achieving good things, but also have crazy goals to take their businesses to the 7-figure, 8-figure level. And there aren't a lot out there. And I just began this journey of wanting to recreate an environment to where you can share that stuff. You can share your wins and your struggles. Kind of a fun thing that happened here recently was I was able to sell a portion of one of my businesses, and I have not shared this publicly. And even this stream will end up being unlisted after I share more about this mastermind group. But so a few weeks ago, about a month ago, less than a month ago, I got a wire into my bank account for $1.5 million. And it's been sitting there. I've taken plenty of screenshots. I've taken some video, B-roll of this. And that is such an amazing, I mean, however you slice it, that was such a awesome moment in my life. And I think about so many other moments in my life where I've had some amazing things happen. But something like that detail, like I don't go to my church small group and share that. Like I don't go to certain family members to share that because they're probably gonna ask for a loan, or you know how it is. There's just like, there's certain things that you can't share with certain people because the way that they will look at you or the way that they will respond they just can't wrap their head around it. Like they're just at a different level than what you are at or what you are aspiring to be. So there's just certain people that you can't go to share some of these amazing accomplishments, some of these crazy ideas that you have. And I'm grateful that I have, some guys that I can go to share this stuff with. I mean, it's awesome because oftentimes something good happens. It feels like you're bragging. Like it's like, oh, look at him. He's just talking about this thing that happened. Like he's just trying to rub it in. But the reality is like, man, like when something good happens, like you want to share that with somebody. Like you want to pick up the phone, you want to shoot a text and be able to share that in a way that just feels good. Like it's good to share those wins. And anyway, so like this whole mastermind group that I'm wanting to start is a place for that, is a place for community, is a place for sharing these wins, sharing these failures, and having not just me, but having 11 other guys that are committed to your success and to be there for you. So that is what this is all about. And I just wanted to really just share like this vision that I have. And the cool thing was this idea, so I mean, I've had this idea for a while, but I've just recently started talking to individuals that I thought would be a good fit. And I'm only opening up to 12 men. Ladies, I'm not trying to be discriminatory, but this is something where just trying to lead other men to be better men, better husbands, better fathers. And that is where I can lead from. I've got experience leading men, and then I let my wife, she'll lead other women. So I'm looking for other men that are committed to this, just to being better men and committed to helping others be better men. So 12 spots is what I'm looking for. Right now I have 8 men that have raised their hand and said that they are interested. This is an application process. So this is not hey, I've got the money, I meet the income requirements, I want in. I love it. I love that you're interested. That's great. But there is an application process because I want to make sure that not that you just check all the boxes, but you also meet just the dynamic of the group, of the other guys that are in this group. And that's one thing I got from Michael. Well, he had 12 spots for his inner circle. As I mentioned, it was $25,000 per person, and he only took in 10 of the 12. He had, I don't know exactly how many, but I know he had 50 to 100 people that applied to be in this. He easily could have filled that 2 spots, made an extra 50,000, but he didn't. And it's because there was no one else that kind of fit that current group, and this will be no different. So if I have 50 people apply, but only 8 fit what I think is going to be a good dynamic of that group, then we're only going to do 8, for this first season. So only 17 can join. Yeah. No, cancel that. Sorry, I'm just reading to myself some of these. What state were you in? Sorry, I got to expand this a little bit. State was I in? I'm in Tennessee right now. Is that what you're asking? What state were you in the Guard? I was in the National Guard enrolled in California when I used to live there, and then the rest of my time was in Illinois, and it ended in Illinois. Ray, some reason my volume does not like you. My bad. I'm only 17. Could I join? Probably not. Not yet. And that's not a bad thing. All that means is that you've got some amazing time on your hands to find whatever it is that you're trying to find, your calling, the business you want to start, and start investing for yourself and get to a point where you can join a mastermind. But let me tell you, I had, this is wild. It's probably been 3 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. I was able to meet up with a guy here locally in Nashville. He is 19 or 20 years old. He dropped out of college. He had a semester left to get his bachelor's. Didn't finish because he felt that he could make more money starting basically a Facebook ads business. I forgot exactly how, but he taught himself how to do Facebook ads, and then he got partnered with a company that was driving leads for timeshares, if I recall correctly. So because of this, and another business that he had that also was doing the Facebook ads, the dude was like 20 years old, making $250,000 a year. That is more than I was making when I was 20 years old. You are 17. These are the opportunities that you have that many of us, that I didn't have at your age. So those opportunities are out there. So it's okay for now. Yeah, and Miguel says, listen to my videos. I have more. Hey, but if this is something that you are interested, if you are a man and you are interested in the possibility of joining this mastermind, what you need to do is you can just shoot me an email, jeff@goodfinancialsense.com. I'm going to drop that in the comments. And then in the subject line, you're going to type in Rose Mastermind. So you're going to email me, jeff@goodfinancialsense.com, which I just shared. And then in the subject line, you're going to put in Rose Mastermind. I can't type and talk, obviously. Boop. You're welcome, man. I enjoy it. Is this possible to create another group, especially for those who are seeking to create business? So here's the fun thing. So I've been racking my brain on different things that I'm launching. So this is this is very hands-on. So you'll find out more. So basically, if you email me at Rose Mastermind, Jeff at Good Financial Sense with Rose Mastermind, you'll see the expectations and also just kind of like the summary of what the mastermind is. And we're having like 3 Zoom calls a month. We have a Voxer group. We're gonna have a Slack channel. We're gonna have in-person meetups. We're gonna have like guest speakers. It's going to be a lot of community, a lot of communication, and just making sure that we're all being committed to each other. That is very high touch, high level. And then once this phase gets rolled out, I do want to open up another group that is unfortunately not as close, but also I have other things, other ideas, other opportunities I want to be able to share with you that like-minded individuals can come together. So there will be some sort of community that I will be launching after we get this initial mastermind launched and on its way. Just want to make sure that this gets launched the way that it needs to be. We're gonna have an in-person meetup like here pretty quick or pretty soon this fall. So I want to get that done. And if you need a place to host your group, try Discord. Okay. So there is going to be something, and I'm excited to it because the reason I've really taken to YouTube is I've just enjoyed being able to share experiences with you all, like just stuff that I've gone through, like some of the stupid boneheaded things that I've done, just working with clients for over 15 years now, and just seeing some of the good money decisions that people have made and some of the stupid ones that people continue to make, but also being able to rub elbows with other successful entrepreneurs from all types, from real estate investors to online business to coach, just speakers, like just so many different amazing people I've been able to learn little nuggets from. And it's just fun to be able to share that with you all. And I just hope that, every video you watch, like there's just some idea that you get from it. That's why I just really have enjoyed this. And that's awesome. And actually just, if you watch the recent houseboat video, which I think a couple people made fun of us because all we did was play cornhole on that houseboat. I promise you we played more than cornhole. We had some really awesome, good conversations about business and life and just how it all kind of plays in. But one of the guys that was on that boat, man, he just had this really awesome idea about, we were talking about social media and just how posting to social media and how, like, when something good happens to yourself, to your kid, to something, like sometimes it feels as if, a lot of us are very narcissistic and we just like talking about ourselves and how amazing we are. And it can come across like that, even though it's like, it's just something you're excited to share, but posting it on social media, some people can look at that, oh, there they are again. Look at them. They've got a great, amazing life, and they're sharing it for everybody. So there's a lot of things like that I don't share just because, I don't know. I guess I've let society deem like, what I should share. But I say all that because an amazing idea I thought he had was sharing anything you share to social media, Facebook, whatever, even like YouTube, is how can you, like, what were the lessons learned from that? Whatever that thing that happened, what lessons did you learn from that are a takeaway for yourself, your kids, for anybody else that reads that? But he also said, and a takeaway I got from it was doing videos where you're teaching your kid a lesson. It could be a life lesson, it could be a money lesson, it could be just a lesson on something. But posting it publicly to where, I'm teaching them something, but also anybody else can benefit from that. Now, I love the idea. I actually haven't taken action on that idea yet, but these are just some of like the cool things that come of being part like of a mastermind group. Just kind of tile that back in. Just little ideas like that, but to be able to share those ideas. I did play a lot of cornhole, I know. Joyce, is it over? It is. Right now, I'm just doing some Q&A, so actually, I'll stick around. I've got some time, maybe like 10 or 15 minutes. Once again, though, if you are watching this, you're still watching this, and you're interested in what this mastermind is, if you email me at jeff@goodfinancialsense.com, I'm going to put this in the comments again. And then in the subject line, make sure to do Rose Mastermind. And what you will receive is a PDF that outlines basically the expectations, the summary of the mastermind is. At the bottom of that PDF, you'll see a link to an application. It will take you about 20 minutes, if not longer, to fill out the application, for those that are interested. Please don't expose your children. Didn't talk about exposing my children on YouTube. It was talking about sharing life lessons with them. How do you balance family and work? Tyler and Lakeisha, that's a great question. It's something that is, I feel like, actually a really good friend of mine here recently just said, like, the whole like idea of work-life balance is really something that doesn't exist, because you try to balance, like, you do more of your family, then your work gets off, then you're like on a teeter-totter, right? Like, it's almost impossible to stay in that middle. But really, it's just finding, what is a harmony, that you can make both exist. Like, how does that happen? And one of the things, and actually going back to Michael Hyatt's inner circle, so I've got 4 kids, 4 children, 3 boys and a daughter. Oldest is 11, our youngest is 3. She'll be 4 in November. And one of the things I've done with my boys is I make it a point to do a one-on-one with them at least 3 times a year. And that might not seem like a lot, but let me tell you, like, these are some of the best memories that I've had with them. I got this idea from another guy that was in the inner circle with Michael Hyatt. Similar situation. I think he had 3 kids, 3 boys. And when you have multiple children, when you've got and involved in sports activities, and you're running in which direction, I mean, we do so much as a family that you don't get a chance, for that one-on-one time. So I make it a point that we try to do, and it doesn't have to be anything big, it doesn't have to be. I tend to make it big because I'm kind of like a big kid myself. So like, if I want to go to a sporting event, then like I want to go. And if we're going to go, we're going to get good seats, because like I didn't really have that when I was a kid. So my kids do benefit, especially my boys that are sports fans. But it could be just simply like with my daughter, like, we're going to go to the American Girl store and have some tea or whatever, or have some coffee, whatever they drink there, and just committing to having that one-on-one time. Another thing that I do, mercy me, it's so funny you say that, because I just watched that movie 2 nights ago for the first time. Amazing movie, I ain't gonna lie, I cried a lot watching that. I don't have a video on securities lending. So anyway, another way too, now this is, some nights I dread this, but my my youngest son goes to bed first. My daughter, my wife and I will take turns putting her down. And then with my older sons, even though like I dread it because I'm so tired by the end of the day that I'm just ready to crash, read a book and crash. But those are the times that, especially as your kids get older, you'll see this. Like your kids don't want to talk to you during the day because they've got their friends, they're watching TV, my boys play Fortnite, they're on their iPads. We do make them shut that off at 8:30 every night. But then it's putting them to bed. Like that is when my boys they'll ask me so many questions about everything. And before I used to be frustrating. So I'm seriously, you're going to wait till right now, right before I put you to bed, you're going to ask me all these questions. But man, I just realized like this is a time that they are willing to just be open with you and share things. And you can ask questions and they'll actually answer you versus just like, no big deal. And like these are some of the best times is just making sure that I tuck them in. And I do tuck them in individually. So it's not just, sometimes I'm more efficient. Oh, I'll just tuck them all in at the same time. But just especially my oldest, like he's more willing to just share some of the things that's going on, and so we'll just have a conversation, pray with them, and that's just an awesome time. So it's hard, and it's something that I'll always struggle with to find that balance. But just making sure that I'm committed to spending some time with them and just having them get off their electronics. And sometimes you just gotta, hey, let's go out and play basketball. Let's go out and do this. Let's like go hit baseball or whatever, depending if we got boys or girls. And with my daughter, she loves playing Barbie, so I'll just sit there and just play Barbie. It might only be for 15 minutes, but like that, she loves it, and I love that time, with her. Bum, bum, bum. It is a lot about finding your calling. Right. Am I involved in the church? I go to church. We are in a small group. I don't lead a small group at the moment. Something that I hope to do in the future. My daughter has not done, she's brushed my hair and she's pretended to paint my fingernails, but we haven't actually applied the real paint yet. I know it's going to happen though. Christian band, man, I listen to a lot of Hillsong. I really like, gosh, I'm drawing a blank here. This is embarrassing. I gotta pull up Spotify. Chris Tomlin. He's actually local to us. I like a lot of his music. Also, is it Evolution Worship? Spotify. That's like my work jam. Children. Yeah, my son could play the ukulele. Jeff, you would say is the link between the group and that mastermind. How could you find that? What would you say is the link between the group and that mastermind? How could you find that? If you're looking for a group as far as the different industries of people in the group, what would you say is the link between the group? So first and foremost, and this isn't the only thing, but there is an income minimum that we're looking for. It's not that should be the only thing, but that's a starter. But it's the link is men that are interested in growing their business. The link is all of them are married. I think only one that has applied doesn't have kids, but so every one of them has kids, has a family. They are committed to being. If you read the summary, you'll see it's these. You'll see kind of what the hope is, but just that, you just want to be challenged. You want to be challenged, like that you don't have it all together, and you recognize that you can't do it alone, and that you need a community to help you. And I think for a lot of men, like that's just hard to even say out loud, because we're men and we're supposed to do it all ourselves, and we don't need help because we're men. And having been in the military, like I recognize, like it wasn't me, like it was my battle buddy, it was my squad, it was my platoon, it was my company, it was all of us as a unit that were able to do what we did. And so just a man that's willing to recognize that, and also someone that is willing to invest into themselves. For some people, like buying a $7 book seems like, oh, I just can't spend that money. That's stupid. I can try to find a free PDF. It's like, it's a book, you know. And the first coaching program that I joined, it was $9,000, and it was a time in my life that was a lot of money. It was a lot of money for something that I didn't even I didn't really fully understand what it was, but I just knew it was something that I was missing. You know, so the mastermind group, and that was a free one, but this was like a paid coaching program. I was scared but willing to invest that into myself. And looking back, I mean, it's by far one. Talk about return on investment. It's one of the best investments I've ever made. Same thing for Michael Hyatt's group. Do I speak Spanish? Nah, no say. I didn't assign my people I looked up to. I picked you. I love it. No shave September. This has been like no shave summer, which is, maybe I should say, yeah, this is all in September, but no, this has been for a few months. I'm just proud I can grow something. You know, I am, my mom's Filipino, so half Filipino. How'd you find your first mastermind? I was at a conference, and there was a speaker on stage that I admired, and I felt like I kind of knew him. You know, I felt him enough. Like, we'd had enough communication where I felt comfortable like going up to him and, you know, talking to him just about anything. And he mentioned that he was in a mastermind group, and I can't remember if he said somebody had just left, or the fact he just mentioned that he was in a mastermind group, and I knew one of the other people in the mastermind group. So I think it was just after that, I just went to him and said, listen, I would love for the opportunity to be in your mastermind group if you have any openings. And that's how that one started. The second one was, man, how did I even, I love, like, I don't remember how I initially connected with these guys. So his name is John Corcoran. If you want to check him out, Smart Business Revolution. He was an attorney when I first met him, and he has since quit being an attorney, and now he has some online courses, which has evolved into like a high level coaching program. And so it's been fun to be this journey of him being a practicing attorney to no longer even taking on clients to now having a program that is $25,000 to be a part of. So it's been fun to see that. So we just somehow connected, and it's like, man, like, we enjoyed talking to each other, and we're like, if we can get two other guys to be a part of this, like, let's start another little mastermind. So we did, and we still are kind of a mastermind, but this is where I think the difference between a paid mastermind and a free one is that we went from meeting every Friday at a certain time. Every Friday turned into every other Friday turned into once a month, and that's where we're at now. And I've been taking polls from other people that are in masterminds, free ones versus paid ones. And generally what I see, not just in my own experience, but in other people's experience, that the free ones, you might get a lot out of it. I mean, you can join a free mastermind, and these are all people that can lift you up. Like, that's awesome. But what I've seen is the level of commitment on the free ones it doesn't even compare to the ones that are willing to pay. So that's why, you know, we've set the income limit, and also just the fact that you're paying like a good chunk to be a part of this. Does my wife have a YouTube channel? She does, but she doesn't really do much with it at the moment. The last few videos that have been uploaded is because her and I have done something together, and I had my little Canon G7X, and we did like kind of more of a family vlog. So I think she has like 3 videos that have been published this year. Would it be the best to choose this style of live videos rather than the upload? Would it be best to choose? I don't know. I know that a lot of people do more live. I am going to do more live. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of the way. So you can't really see this thing, but this is my little rolling. This is like a heavy duty workbench gladiator. Thing weighs like 500 pounds. Oh, you probably can't hear me as good. 500 pounds. And then I've got a Varidesk standing desk on top of it. And then, so that is becoming my my rolling video station. And then I will be doing live broadcasts on that. So that's getting ready to happen. And yeah, so I think it's good to mix in both. I mean, some of the YouTubers I've been following, they do a good intermix. And other than figuring out the software, you know, I could do straight YouTube Live. I'm trying to use OBS right now, which I need some more prettier graphics to make it look a little bit more legit. So I think it's good. Yeah, is this your first time at FinCon or Orlando? Are you Next time we say a 10-year-old. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? 5 years. Um, 5 years. Man, that's a good question. I see myself being fully phased out of my financial planning practice, which is in process at the moment. Have not shared that publicly yet. I look at being totally having a lot more educational resources, whether that be membership programs, courses, just trying to share a lot of my experience, but not just my experience, but also just people that I've been blessed to be around to share their experience, because I think so many people have so much potential that they don't realize. The person that I'm trying to reach right now is the 19-year-old version of me. This is the guy that didn't have parents that didn't teach them anything about investing, about saving, about entrepreneurship. They know that they have a lot of potential, but they have no idea where to go. So they start reading books and they get excited and have this idea and they want to pursue that idea, but they just don't know how. And I want to be able to eliminate, the 7 to 10 years that it took me to find, what that calling was, what that purpose was. And like that is my avatar. Like that's who I'm trying to reach. But you don't have to be 19. You could also be 25. You could also be 30. So wanting to reach that. But just trying to any decrease of time, anxiety, stress, failures that I can help with. Like that's what I get really excited about. And I've kind of teased a lot of that with YouTube. But I know like the only way to really deliver this in a way that people can actually take action on is to do that in some sort of course or membership type community. I mean, it's everything I've got in my head. I mean, you can see the initial layout is behind me, but there's more there, and like that's just a snippet of everything that's in my head right now. But I know like a very successful person told me that it doesn't really help anybody when it's in your head. And as a business owner, entrepreneur, you don't make any money when it's in your head. So how do you get it out and actually help people achieve what they're wanting to achieve? So I've got some work to do. First step, mastermind. Second step is what you see behind me. People will always be serious about life investing, will always make a financial investment. Yes, sir. What was the most profitable investment in the last 5 years? I mean, we can go traditional stuff. I can say I bought Facebook at a certain like 20 some bucks a share. Like that was a good investment. But really, man, everything has been. I invested, I think it was over 10 grand into a redesign of my blog, which just it blew me away because that was more money than I spent on my first 2 cars that I bought. And I was just trying to wrap my head around, like, I'm spending 10 grand on a website design. That was new for me. But man, I made all that investment back like in the first 2 weeks. So like that was, and then some, and a lot some. Any coaching program, man, just I think about like the Hyatt, the $25,000, the other coaching program that was $9,000 a year. I mean, when I joined that program, now that's over 5 years ago, but I joined that program, I was it 200 or 250? You had to be making at least 200 or 250 to even be a part of it. So that's where I was. And then, 5 years later, I crossed the 7-figure mark. And I can confidently say like that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for taking a risk, having some faith, and joining this coaching program. Because I was paying $9,000 for something that I was referred to that program by some guy I met online. He didn't get a commission for referring me. We struck up a conversation, and based on the conversation, he felt that this was something that would benefit me. And he just called me at the right time, and I think it was a month later, I ended up signing up. And my wife was like, "You're going to do what? Like, what is it? Like, what do they do?" And like, I don't know. This guy I met online says I need to do it. I did a little bit more research, but that was a big one. Why does everybody ask me about my teeth? I brushed my teeth. They are real. I did have braces whenever I was in high school, so that's my secret. But I will tell you, I am blessed with good teeth because my wife is so meticulous and OCD about her teeth. I mean, she brushes like multiple times a day. She flosses. mouthwash, and and her entire life she's been like this, and she has, I don't know, she always gets cavities. My middle son has her genetics. Same thing. He's the most diligent about brushing his teeth, and yet he has like the worst teeth. And my oldest son has never had a cavity, and he's like, I have to like force him to brush his teeth. So I've been blessed. Music do I listen to? So I do listen to a lot of worship music on Spotify, but then I've just really gotten this whole cornhole thing. I've played before. I've never been in a neighborhood that plays cornhole or have guys that want to play cornhole with. So my next door neighbor, he's 36 years old. He's a COO of a $100 million company, and like just moved in like a month ago. We've had just some amazing conversations, and he loves to play cornhole. Oh, and he also he was a Major League Baseball player for a few years before he got hurt. So he's super competitive, but just a good guy. So anyway, I share that because I've just got on this cornhole kick. So I created a cornhole playlist. Actually, if you're on Spotify, I guess you could follow it, but I'll just kind of give you some of I went a little bit like old school. I wanted something that was like good vibes just for myself and for like our neighbors and the neighbors' wives. So we got like Michael Jackson, Imagine Dragons, Justin Timberlake, AC/DC, Leonard Skinner, Lenny Kravitz, Criss Cross, Elton John, Taylor Swift, Black Crowes, Eric Clapton, Kid Rock, The Rolling Stones, Johnny Cash, TLC, Prince, Bobby Brown, Belle Biv DeVoe, Shawn Mendes, Cake, Sugar Ray, Alanis Morissette, Seal, U2, and Toby Mac and the Beatles, Bon Jovi, just to kind of give you an idea. So I like a lot. Do you listen to Post Malone? I don't think I know who that is. Post Malone. I think I should know that. I'm embarrassed to admit that. This is why I don't like doing live. Sorry I missed most of the videos we posted to review. Yeah, I'm going to have it, it'll be live for a little bit, and then I'll end up taking it down. If you go through the comments, just talking about a men's mastermind group that I'm opening for high achievers, and it is a paid membership. If you have some interest, you can email me, jeff@goodfinancialsense.com, and then use subject line Rose Mastermind. You can go to the comments and you'll see it. Spotify playlist. Are you asking me to name it, or do you just not know what that means? If you're asking me the name of it, it is Cornhole List for the Win by Jeff. I don't know why I named it that. Ray 53, man. So I mean, basically, a lot of people like your age or even older would just say like, my time is done. It's over. And the reality is like, yeah, I mean, you definitely have a lot of things going against you. I mean, you don't have a lot of the benefit of compounding interest that the 17-year-old who was on here earlier that has, but you still have time. But to be able to make up ground that you have lost, I mean, to achieve extraordinary things, you got to take make some extraordinary changes in your life. And that could just be cutting some serious costs that a lot of people would look at you as being weird. And I'll give you an example, not so much an older one, but of a fellow blogging friend, now an author, and he was $52,000 of debt, had $52,000 of debt, and just couldn't figure out a way to pay it off, and just wanted to be done with it. So what did he do? I mean, most people would continue to work and try to save and try to pay as much as they can. What they end up doing was they end up selling one of their cars, end up sharing a car, and they both had jobs. So like it took some juggling to make that happen. And then in addition to that, he ended up delivering pizzas on the weekend. And you can imagine having a full-time job where people think that you're doing okay, and now you got to tell them that you're delivering pizzas on the weekend. I mean, that was a major ego swallow that he had to take care of, but he did it. And I think it was in 18 months, maybe 16 to 18 months, he was able to pay off all that debt. But he did some extraordinary things to make that happen. And that's sometimes what it takes. I'm 17 and want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 70. Is that possible? I would say this. Why? why do you want to become a millionaire at the age of 20? Because if the goal is just to become a millionaire, then you will, what I hear is somebody's willing to do anything, doesn't matter what they do, doesn't matter like what they have to do to get there. But really I would ask you, like, what is the motivation behind it? Because I was able to find success and contentment before I ever hit that $1 million mark. And because there was joy in a lot of the successes that I had, whether it was starting my own business or helping somebody achieve a goal. Those are the things that, at least for me, like that's what gave me life. That's what gave me reason to celebrate. And by doing that, I became a millionaire because I was willing to help others. And so I think every time I see that, I always want to know, like, why? Is it just because that it just sounds cool? You know, a millionaire by 20, so you can do a YouTube video later on about it, which if that's the motivation, that's great. But it's, you know, what's the why? Like, what's the reasoning behind it? And is it possible? Heck yeah, it's possible. I mean, people do it all the time. It's possible. It's what are you willing to sacrifice to make it happen? And sometimes people will sacrifice. I will tell you, like early on in my career, I mean, when I first started, I'd say more like, I mean, both the financial planning career and also in the online business. I mean, I was spending so much time because I wanted to achieve X and I wanted to do this. And I'm looking at other people that had already accomplished that. And then I kind of fall into this whole comparison trap. And you can watch one of my wealth hacker videos where I talk about be careful with the comparison syndrome. But I was chasing something that I thought was like what I really wanted. But the reality was like, that was what that person wanted. And somehow I was chasing their dream and it wasn't my dream. And I was sacrificing, somebody asked earlier about, you know, work-life balance. I mean, I was sacrificing time with my wife and my kids and my spirituality because I was trying to do this. And not saying, and this is, everybody has their thing, but I realized over time that wasn't the answer. And I was able to take a step back and just realize, like, what ultimately is it I'm trying to do and trying to accomplish? And once I figured that out, the purpose was there. Like, the day-to-day fulfillment was there, because you can have $1 million and work your butt off and have pissed off all your friends, broke up your girlfriend, not married, don't see your family, don't see your friends. You got $1 million, but you worked 100 some hours a week to make it happen. And I've seen so many successful businessmen that are making a lot of money and have made a lot of money. They're making 10 times the amount that I'm making, except now they're having to pay half of that in a divorce and alimony and child support. I see it all the time. And if I didn't change my ways, like, I would have been down that exact same path too. So another good tie-in to the men's mastermind group. Like, these are the things, the issues that, you know, that we talk about, making sure that there is that work-life harmony between it. Basically, I'm a really motivated idiot trying to figure it out of the way. That's not a bad thing. I knew nothing at that age. It wasn't, I've shared this, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and wanted to do something, didn't know what that was. And that began a frustrating but also exciting journey of trying to figure out what that is. Some people figure it out sooner than others. Others it takes longer, but it just mattered just being diligent and having perseverance to push through. Had so many failures along the way that now looking back were not failures. They were just stepping stones to get me to where I am right now. Would be the best, safest method to begin a business or investing without applying much risk due to low funds? Man, I mean, it's easy for me to say this because I just think that, like, any sort of online business, anything online, I mean, there's so much that you can do that doesn't take a lot of money. Now, there are so many ways that you can go. I mean, I speak to blogging a lot because that's just, you know, my path. But then I have a friend of mine who, he's going to be on the channel here pretty soon. I don't want to share any income figures. He's in a certain space that he did that space for a while, and then he ended up teaching others like how to do it. And with that, I mean, he's built a 7-figure business based on that. but he had to go do it first. But you don't have to. Like, you don't have to. And that's why I loved, if you've not checked out the video interview I just did with Joe Nicoletti, it was, I think, published last week or 2 weeks ago. The title is how he made $10,000 in 1 hour. So Joe was like you, didn't know, he wanted something. He had a 9-to-5 job and knew that there was an amazing opportunity online. Didn't know where that was, so he tried a bunch of different things. Had a productivity blog that went nowhere, and he had a few other things. I forgot what they were. We were talking about this that just ended up nowhere. And then he stumbled upon this writing program or this writing software called Scrivener that I've never used, and with basically create a course to help people learn how to use Scrivener, because it was an awesome program, but there's like a huge learning curve for it, so a lot of people get stuck with it. And watch that video, he'll share more. But he was able to make 6 figures like off of this idea that he did. But it took him years of other ideas that were amazing ideas in his mind. He did not have a mastermind group starting out to get him there. Did I not answer that? Are you going to write another book in the near future, maybe after the Mastermind Adventure? Yeah, so somebody just gave me $5. Does that happen? I didn't know I even know I had that turned on. You have to give me $5, dude. I'll appreciate that. Yeah, no, I do have another book right now it's here. It's here. And what I envision the format is, as far as getting this book idea out, it's Mastermind first. It's this second, and basically like what I'm teaching here is the fundamentals behind the book. It will be about life planning, wealth building, accelerated wealth building. I have it here. The outline is in my head, but I'm taking a page from, once again, just the connections I've had. Michael Hyatt he's had several, I guess just one New York Times bestseller, but other bestsellers, USA Today and Washington Post, or they even do the bestseller list, I forget. But he's launched a course and taken people through the course to get testimonials of people that have taken action on the course and seen results. And then from that, he has launched the book afterwards. And that is the page that I'm taking. So yes, I will be writing another book. No, I didn't say it. I think somebody asked earlier and I forgot that they asked because I get off on tangents. So, all right, y'all. All right, so I'm committed to doing more of these. But before I do that, the Mastermind will be launched, and I'm going to get this little setup behind me going to where I can really, because my vision is like multi-camera angles and other stuff and like more flashy graphics, and for people not to say that the volume is low, and for me not to start streaming and not realize I am streaming and people can see me. My life is changing. Mike, dude, I love it, man. I don't know how your life is changing, but I love that it is. I hope that, I hope that something that I said of value is inspired you to take action. All right, so final pitch. Men's Mastermind. If you think you're a good fit, email me, jeff@goodfinancialsense.com. In the subject line, Rose Mastermind. How much is the Mastermind? It is $10,000 if you want to pay up front, or it's $1,000 a month for 12 months. And that does include all the in-person meetups that we have. Will not include travel and stay, but any of the activities that we participate in will include, and I've got some activities in mind. And then we're doing one with just the guys, and we're doing another one with the spouses, is the plan in the spring, because I really want to incorporate the wives into this as well. Yeah. Who's your mastermind for? It is for men. Men that are committed to being better men, but also are committed to growing their business, but not just business. So this is not just a business mastermind. Like, this is a all-purpose, all aspects of life mastermind. So men that are currently at a certain income level that are looking to grow that level to some crazy amounts. It was weird, like earlier in my life when there was a point like I never thought I would make over 7 figures. Even where I'm at right now, like it's weird to me to say that like I will eventually make 8 figures. Like it's going to happen. It's weird for me to even say that. Like coming from a childhood where I ate ramen noodles and Gino's Pizza, where the house that my dad bought after he remarried was like $8,000 that he couldn't even pay for. He had to borrow it from his ex-wife, my mom. So like that is a childhood that I grew up in, and where we didn't have money, didn't know what it meant to have money. We didn't do family vacations. So to get to the point where I'm at now, like it's fun to be able to say that, but it's also very surreal at times. It feels very, very weird. So for those that are at like a 6-figure level that have a crazy goal to get to 7 figures, that maybe they never shared that before, maybe they never even thought it or believed it, because I know I was right there, and then to show like there's a path to get there. I mean, it's just a matter of mapping it out, and that's kind of like what I show back here. It's just like how to make that happen. All right, as Andy is telling me to drop it one more time. So Jay, email me, Jeff at Good Financial Sense. Subject line. That's funny, Andy. You're still on here, buddy. I love you. Subject line, Rose Mastermind. Why I didn't just copy and paste this earlier would have made this a whole lot easier. If you're interested. What's favorite Bible verse? James 4:7 is one I tend to go to a lot, but it kind of fluctuates. What did you invest while you were lower enlisted? So when I was in the National Guard, it was mutual funds. I think I shared this in one of my videos, how to start investing like when you don't have any money. I forgot the title, but you can watch that. But I started, my first investments was into 2 different mutual funds. I was putting in, I can't remember if it was 25 or 50. I think it was $50. No, it was, oh my gosh, I can't remember this. It was either 25 or $50, but it was into a Van Campen mutual fund, which I don't think even exists anymore. But it by far, and like this is why if you watch some of my videos, I just say this, like a lot of people like think they got to do all this research before they start investing. Like you don't, just start investing. So what ended up happening was I invested into, I didn't know, it was another financial advisor who recommended it. It was an okay fund. It wasn't great. I think I was in that fund for a few years before I ended up selling it and taking whatever I'd made into something else. And that's just the whole point of just investing, because once you kind of put yourself out there, you start learning so much and you start recognizing other opportunities. So it doesn't really matter where you start. That's why I'm like, man, just if you open an account anywhere, E-Trade, Ally, TD Ameritrade, Betterment, Wealthfront, wherever, Robinhood, just to put something in and just to open it, invest money, like you're going to learn a lot in that process. Do you have to make a certain income now? Yes, you do. There is an income restriction right now. What is your exercise health regimen? It fluctuates. Right now, the season has, once again, if you watch some of my videos, I've been really into boxing. So like this week, for example, I did boxing Monday, I did cardio Tuesday. I've got a workout room in the back. It's got an elliptical, squat rack, all this good stuff. My joints are really killing me, so I've been doing a lot more elliptical. So boxing Monday, 45 minutes cardio Tuesday. Did not work out Wednesday. Felt really bad about that. Overslept, missed my 5:30 class, and then I had a lunch meeting, so I did not work out. Yesterday, hour of boxing. This morning I did make the 5:30 class, did 45 minutes of boxing. I'll do boxing again tomorrow. So I've been trying to get in. My goal right now is at least, I'm going to say 4 to 5 days, but the reality is 5 to 6 is what I'm shooting for. So 5 to 6 days, at least 30 minutes. But if I'm doing boxing, that's going to be like 45 minutes to an hour. And as far as health regimen, like that's where I'm not as consistent. I've used MyFitnessPal, like where I was tracking everything. I had a scale, I was weighing everything. We've just kind of had a transition. We have a nanny that helps out around the house with dinner and laundry and cleaning and other stuff like that. And then, but she quit. She put her 2 weeks in, got another job, and then we just got a new nanny that came in this week actually. So I'm actually getting her to do some meal prep for me so that I can just have meals to go. There are some meal delivery services I've done here locally. I mean, you're going to pay. One of the guys I admire, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Ramit Sethi from IWillTeachYouToBeRich.com. The dude is a genius among so many levels. He does some YouTube, not a whole lot. Sign up for his newsletters. Yes, he will try to sell you one of his 27 courses, but his newsletters are some of the best I ever read. I mean, it's almost like you want to pay him for his emails that he sends you. Like, they're that good. But we met in New York like a few years ago, and I didn't realize like how committed and obsessed he was about his health. So he's got a personal trainer. He has a personal chef. And he has like his blood level tested, I don't know how often, but basically to see like the macronutrients, what he's missing. So like his chef will prepare everything and they deposit it into his fridge that he can warm up. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. But like, that's the level that he takes it. So I'm not there yet, but I just do a lot of Jamba Juice. I do like a protein shake, like a pre-made. Sometimes I'll make my own. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And my guilty sin would be Chucky Chips Ahoy cookies. Do I use Robinhood? I don't. I think I started an account, but I don't think I ever synced my bank account. I'm actually going to do a video where I open an account with Robinhood and I make an investment for the first time. And I'm going to include my 11-year-old son so we can have a conversation about what a stock is and how to invest. So it should be fun. If I start to make money on Robinhood, do I have to show the IRS each? Not individual transaction. You'll get a 1099 at the end of the year that will consolidate all your gains at once. So they'll take care of that for you. And Chad answered that question. So thanks, Chad. So you were in the guard. That's why you still have hope in your eyes. I guess. That's funny. The creator of Ramen Noodle, they probably made millions of struggling entrepreneurs. Yes, they did. Currently low enlisted in the Navy. Any recommendations for investments while I'm in? TSP is an easy one. But outside of that, I would go open up a Roth IRA somewhere. I just love the idea of somebody, if you actually going somewhere and opening an account, and you don't have to go somewhere. I mean, you can go to a computer and open one online, but that way you just have both. But just that process of opening an account elsewhere, you're going to learn more than just signing up for a TSP that's automatically taken out of your account that you don't have to do anything with. Yes. All right. So my oldest son just got home from school, so I always make sure to point to say hey and greet him when he gets home, find out about his day. So that's how you do work-life balance. But I will be back again for a live broadcast, and I'll have a much better, for those of you that were here on the beginning, you'll know what I mean. We'll have it more streamlined from the get-go, and we'll get all that figured out. So appreciate you taking your time out of your afternoon. Once again, if you're interested on the Men's Mastermind Group, I'll drop where you can get more information about it one more time when I sign off. But I appreciate you, and watch out. I got some more videos coming. Also, too, I'm doing a slight rebrand to the channel, which kind of plays into what is behind me. That is such a tease. I can't wait to share it. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought, but that's okay. But I think you're all gonna love it. So appreciate y'all, and we'll be chatting again soon.